the hands of Pittsburgh star receiver Larry Fitzgerald, who tonight states his case for the Heisman Trophy. And his quarterback, Rod Rutherford, knows it's do or die in this Miami's final Big East appearance.
Playoff game, you know. We like to give, I guess, Miami a goodbye present, a nice one, which the ACC would.
The Pittsburgh duo has electrified the Big East with a dynamic passing attack. Quarterback Rutherford and wide receiver Fitzgerald have brought the Panther offense back to greatness. Week after week, Fitzgerald has made one acrobatic catch after another. For Miami, their mission is to control this wideout with an aggressive defense that loves to make statements. Tonight, the Panthers take on the Hurricanes with the Big East Championship on the line.
ABC Sports welcomes you to Pittsburgh and the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT. A Big East confrontation between Pitt and Miami. Next year, Miami moves to the ACC, but tonight the stakes could not be higher. West Virginia has won today. The winner moves into a tie, but apparently either Miami or Pittsburgh will hold the tie-breaking advantage in the BCS rankings and thus move on to the FedEx Orange Bowl. Good evening, everybody. With Gary Danielson, I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you along with us, folks. It is cold, 30 degrees, wind chill at about 20. Miami sent out a release, say, hey, we're 4-4 and 40-degree temperature. We've even beaten Pittsburgh once. We shall see. Gary, we couldn't have two better receivers than we've got here.
No, absolutely not, Brent. You look around college football, these might be the best two players in the game. And the reason is because they can dictate defenses. Both coordinators have told me to stop these guys. They must change. And the reason is both of them are so special at what they do. They're not only athletic and big, but both of them are technicians at their game. And you know what they both do the best? They both catch the ball in traffic. Even if they're covered, they'll come up with the ball.
So here tonight, Pittsburgh will try to beat Miami. They've lost 5 in a row. Right now, we send you to New York and John Saunders. John?
Miami's head coach Larry Coker has brought the Hurricanes here to Pittsburgh, but Coach, how do you stop Rutherford to Fitzgerald?
I don't know if you stop them, Jack, but we got to slow them down, and I think that's the key. They're going to make some plays, but we just got to regroup, get back in the process, and make sure that we just don't let them take control of the game.
All this talk about the cold weather, does it concern you or your team?
No, not at all. It's a cool night, but again, probably the wind's more of a factor than the cold weather. But no, the weather is it's on both teams.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, thanks, Jack.
There is the wind. Chill factor at 20 degrees, and as you know, it's going to get colder as the night proceeds. We have a breeze of 10 to 15 miles an hour right now, but at least there is no frozen rain called snow in the forecast, Gary.
And no frozen field like the old Pitt Stadium with the turf.
Pittsburgh won the coin toss and defers. Miami will go on the attack to begin the game. This for a position in the FedEx Orange Bowl, apparently. We'll have to wait and see how everything shakes out, and we will unfold that story. Pittsburgh, of course, lost to West Virginia, but head-to-head is not the first tiebreaker in this conference, as was reported in many media outlets during the week. It is the BCS rankings, and if West Virginia is not within 5 spots of Pittsburgh, should they win, then they have no chance to go, and everybody says Pittsburgh will be more than 5 spots ahead if they beat Miami here tonight. Adam Grassil begins the game, fielded at the 10-yard line by Darnell Jenkins. The freshman is down at the 31-yard line, and we meet the junior Miami quarterback from Shreveport, Louisiana.
I'm Brock Berlin, junior quarterback, majoring in sociology.
It has been an up and down season for Brock, who has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. He lost the starting job following the Tennessee game. He did not start against Syracuse. Then he regained the job. Derek Crudup, the backup, the junior from Delray Beach, over on the sideline, ready to play. So they come out in the I formation. Walter Payton's son gets the first carry of the game for 3 yards. And if Jared Payton is as good as Daddy was in cold weather, he could have a big night. We take a look at the SBC starting lineups. This offensive line has had to have been juggled because Joe Rodriguez, the center, out with a broken leg. 2 seniors there. There's Jarrett Payton, the senior from Arlington Heights, Illinois. And John Petty, the field goal specialist from Clearwater, Florida. He's probably never kicked field goals in weather like this. 2nd down and 7 for Berlin and the Canes. Out the one back is Payton. No first down. It'll be 3rd and short on the hit by linebacker Brian Bennett. This Pittsburgh defense has been under fire all season long. They have given up 3 200-yard rushing games by 3 runners. Lewis Moore is the leading tackler, number 48. Here's your senior secondary with Corey Humphreys moving into the starting lineup.
The only difference, Brent, is the teams that ran well against Pittsburgh ran spread runs. They've done all right against I formation teams, which Miami features.
3rd down. Berlin. Incomplete. It's 3 and out.
Corey Humphreys, the safety that time, just jumped all over Winslow coming across. You get him in 3rd and long. Decent pressure on Berlin and a very conservative approach by Miami. That's been their MO.
Ryan Monroe, the Hurricane punter. Tutu Ferguson, number 27, the defensive back, standing at the Pittsburgh 22-yard line, bad off the side of the foot. And it'll roll out of bounds at the 36-yard line. And so the Pittsburgh quarterback will take over 64 yards from the end zone.
My name is Rob Rutherford. I'm a 5th-year senior. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And folks, if you want to know about Walt Harris as a coach and the job that he can do, consider the career of Rod Rutherford. At one time, they thought about making him a wide receiver or even a defensive back. Finally, he settled down after many meetings with the head coach, and now he has become one of the better senior quarterbacks in the country. 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line out of that power I. Myrie back in the lineup a week ago gives them a hard running back here tonight. Vilma makes the stop, and our SBC starting lineup for Pittsburgh looks like this. John Shaw moved from guard to center. He will anchor it. 4 seniors in that offensive line. So Brandon Myrie with the first carry of the game. Jawan Walker is his backup. Number 1 is the go-to guy, and Andy Lee leads the Big East in punting, so he could be a weapon here tonight if it becomes a battle of field position. There is number 25, Brandon Myrie, the senior from Cincinnati. Picked up 5 yards on his first carry, and they come right back with him. Shakes the first tackler, dives toward the first down marker, but a little bit short as Greg Threet, the sophomore, makes the stop for this Miami defense, just loaded with big-time players. For example, Vince Wilfork, the defensive tackle. None any better than that youngster. And how about these 2 linebackers, Vilma and DJ Williams, both destined to become first-rounders in an upcoming NFL draft. And then in that defensive secondary, Sean Taylor, he could be the best overall player in college football today. So Vilma, the defense, gets ready on 3rd and short. Myrie again, first down Pittsburgh, crosses midfield and barges to the Canes 41-yard line. And Walt Harris saw that the running game was working early, so he is sticking right with it.
Remember a year ago when Pittsburgh played at Miami, 6 sacks Miami recorded against this offense. Walt Harris says we must establish the run against these guys. We can't turn them loose on our quarterback or we won't be able to feature number 1. Good start for Pittsburgh.
It makes such a difference having Myrie back in that lineup. On first down, the long handoff. That is tough to gain many yards against the Cane defense on that long reach. Sykes makes the stop, and Rutherford talked about having Myrie back.
I think one thing that Myrie does that I haven't seen is his vision. He definitely sees some things that a lot of backs can't see, and I think that's one thing that's going to help us to be able to run the ball against them.
You couldn't see much on that last play. A slow developing run against the Canes. generally blows up like that one did. 2nd down and 8. You've got to have quick hitters. You've got to open the hole quickly. There isn't a faster college defense in the country. 2nd down and long. They show that end around look. And hit as he came across the 40-yard line. And that was Alfonso Marshall, the corner, making the stop on Greg Lee, the freshman from Tampa.
If you're going to talk about great players in college football, you've mentioned Sean Taylor. We mentioned Fitzgerald. We've mentioned the big tight end Kellen Winslow. Vince Wilfork might be as good a defensive tackle as there is in college football. He's the 4th leading tackler on this team. And when you run the football, Pittsburgh says it is really tough to block that guy.
Here's a Fitzgerald situation. 3rd down and 7. He's down at the bottom of your screen. Split out to the right-hand side. The Canes show press coverage against him. Rutherford, the left-hander, looks just to the left, comes back to the middle. Wide open for the 1st down is Princell Brockenbrough, the senior from Richmond, Virginia. So the Canes thought they'd be looking one, and Rutherford said, let's come back with Brockenbrough for 26 yards.
One of the MOs of a Walt Harris passing attack is he attacks the middle of the field. One side of the field has a receiver that they double cover. The other side they come and run Brockenbrough or Greg Lee the middle. When you talk to the Pitt people, and Brent, we talked to one right before the game, he said those 2 guys make a lot of catches over the middle of the field, and it's because of number 1.
Remember now, Fitzgerald has caught a touchdown pass and an NCAA record 17 straight games. Here comes that fade to Fitzgerald, and there's a penalty interference on the play. It's an automatic 1st down, half the distance to the goal line.
I talked to Walt Harris on the phone, and I asked him when he gets inside the 10 or the 15-yard line, what percentage does he believe he'll hit fades to Larry Fitzgerald? He said, it's our safest play. We believe we can hit it at least 3 out of 5 times, and we'll get a pass interference once out of 5. One of our safest calls I can make.
It looks like there are 2 flags down. That's against the Canes.
Pass interference on the defense. It's a spot foul, automatic, 1st down.
So a spot foul, according to Tom DeJoseph, the referee from the Big East here tonight.
Alfonso Marshall, number 25. Great read by Larry Fitzgerald. You can see the hold on the play. The ball's thrown to the outside right where it should be, and I believe Fitzgerald might have got out to that one and made the catch. Very underrated thrower. Rod Rutherford throws that fade as well as any quarterback in college football. I'd also rate Jason White up there on the fade.
Inside the 5-yard line with the 1st down. Offset eye. Here comes Myrie, right side. Barges to the 2-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal. Darryl McClover, the senior linebacker, making the stop down there. It was interesting that Walt Harris had flopped Fitzgerald from the right back to the left, through the fade to the left. Sean Taylor did not have an opportunity to get over the top. He knows that the Canes in a red zone want to get Taylor on him as much as they can, the safety. He was over on the other side that time. Harris now looking down at his play chart to see what he wants to come up with here on 2nd down. Here comes Fitzgerald. He's the lone wideout, and you can see the 2. And again, they want to get back over the top and double on him if they can. But Rutherford keeps it, and he has stopped short of that end zone. So 3rd down coming up. DJ Williams and McClover make the stop.
What an advantage of one receiver being able to take 2 people out of the box for Miami. That should allow Pittsburgh to be able to run the ball. When you have a running quarterback like Rutherford, that even gives you one more guy with the option game and the quarterback draw game that has been featured by Pittsburgh.
Now they cluster Fitzgerald. In a slot right there. There he is, number 1. 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, mismatch. They'd only had 2 defenders for 3 guys out there.
And a timeout has been called by Miami as the result of the Walt Harris formation. A lot of hard feelings by the Big East teams left behind by Miami, Virginia Tech, and Boston College. Pittsburgh, having beaten Boston College and Virginia Tech already, tonight they would make it a clean sweep if they can upset the Canes, who as a road team came in here still favored by a field goal. 3rd down from the 2-yard line. Rutherford throwing for touchdown, Pittsburgh. So rolling out to the left-hand side.
Chris Wilson, the tight end, one of the fastest players on Pittsburgh's team, did not have to be very fast on this one. He was wide open. Miami sells out for the run, and Rutherford gets another touchdown pass.
Chris Wilson, one of the more underrated tight ends in all of college football. He's a senior from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. This is his 41st consecutive start, and there are several pro scouts down there sitting in the press box who, among others, are keeping a very close eye on Wilson tonight as David Abdul adds the extra point to make it 7-0. Rutherford with a beautiful play fake throws part of the Kane defense. Then a wobbly throw, but Wilson was wide open. 7-0 timeout. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Chevy Silverado. It's the right truck. SBC going beyond the call. And Killian's Irish Red. Irish in spirit, a step up in taste. So the Pittsburgh Panthers go 64 yards in 5-14. Score the game's first touchdown. Rod Rutherford's pass to Wilson. Rutherford completing both his passes, and the big ball carrier on that drive was Brandon Myrie. 5 carries for 24 yards. The ball is on the tee for Adam Grassil again. And the freshman from Dublin, Ohio, has kicked this one out of bounds. Well, Monday night, the 9-2 Titans go to the Big Apple to try and crown Chad Pennington. Santana Moss and the high-flying Jets. Monday Night Football live at 9 Eastern on ABC. And we've got several graduates of these schools. Curtis Martin, the fine running back for the Jets, of course, played here. Vinny Testaverde, Jet backup quarterback now out of Miami. And Santana Moss, who has a brother on the Miami team here tonight. Centereese Moss, number 83. Jason Gathers in as the running back, motions out. Berlin back to pass. The swing pass in underneath after the tailback had cleared everybody out to Quatrin Hill, and the sophomore from Sunrise with a nice gain before Thomas Smith brings him down. And Jack, cold weather. Gary, of course, said the field is not frozen up. It should make the footing pretty good down there.
Brent, the footing is spectacular, and there's 3 reasons. One, this field is a mixture of natural grass and artificial turf. You really have to look closely to see it, but they also have heating coils beneath this field. It's a nice track tonight.
All right, Jack looking very comfy in that Montana sombrero there. Jared Payton back in as the I-back. Short drop Berlin. Puts it into Ryan Moore's hands, the redshirt freshman from Orlando, Florida, and they pick up the first down. Something so unusual about a Miami offense. When you look at this graphic, they have not passed for more than 100 yards in 2 straight games. The 1972 season is the last time that the Canes had 2 straight games, Gary, with less than 100 passing.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice play by Brock Berlin right there. That was just between he and the receiver that time. That was a run play called, and Brock read it beautifully.
And the Canes a first down at the 48, running the toss with Payton. And he slams to the 45-yard line across midfield. And Craig James, how about the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame tonight against Stanford?
All right, Brent, in this Taco Bell update, the Irish trying to make it 3 wins in a row. We're getting it done behind Julius Jones on the ground, 10 yards up the middle. He had 5 carries, 74 yards on the drive. Brent, looks like the old Irish at it again on the offensive line.
Craig, and Julius is one of those big backs who hit this Pittsburgh defense for 200 yards. 262, as a matter of fact, for Julius Jones. And here it is, Payton picking up the first down. And again, let me go back to what I said. If he can run as well as Daddy did in cold weather, the Canes have got a back here tonight.
Yeah, you're right. They run the ball like that, and it will be a long night. Larry Fitzgerald will not catch as many passes as he should. Again, though, all of those teams have little bit different styles. Especially Quincy Wilson is 208, and Kevin Jones, Virginia Tech, more from the spread. Julius Jones just manhandled this team Notre Dame did on a shocker early in the season.
First down across the 40-yard line. Winslow with that H-back look. Comes downfield. Brock with plenty of time. Completed the 35-yard line. Centerice Moss, the sophomore from Miami, is tackled by Lewis Moore, who's the leading tackler for this Panther defense.
Yeah, Lewis Moore was last season the Sam backer, moved to the middle, and that's one of the problems this defense had. They lost Gerald Hayes, their great middle linebacker, a year ago, and it's been a little longer for this new group of Moore, Bennett, J.J. Horner, redshirt freshman coming in, J.J. Horner Jr. coming in there. They've slowly gotten better at linebacker.
Remember, there's a new center out there with Joe Rodriguez out with a broken leg. Chris Myers has moved to that spot. Carey and McGrath the guards. Middle holds. Intercepted at the 30-yard line. Ball was thrown behind the receiver, and Tyrone Gilliard, the junior from Princeton, West Virginia, makes the interception.
Actually, Brock Berlin made two mistakes on this play. He did not allow Kellen Winslow to get set for a second. Then he threw the ball very, very badly on an easy out route. This was an easy pitch and catch. The ball thrown terribly behind. Just get that out in front. That's an easy one, and that's a big turnover. That is what has plagued this Miami team. Turnovers.
So Rod Rutherford comes back under center. He is now only 3 touchdown passes behind Dan Marino's school record. He has 34 now. And we've got a flag thrown here.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
When you look at Larry Fitzgerald, you watch this guy do so many great things. He has tremendous reach catching the ball. He's so flexible. We've seen him make these type of catches. And when he's running and catching the ball or he has it, he's as balanced. His eyes very rarely even move when he's running the ball. No jiggle. And that's why you can make those great catches no matter which direction he's facing.
1st and 15. Fitzgerald comes in motion. Rutherford. And the big fella's in on top of him. Vince Wilfork from Boynton Beach, the junior with his 6th sack of the season. On a cold night in Pittsburgh with Jack Arute and Gary Danielson, I'm Brett Musburger. Fitzgerald looking for the fade. Through pass interference on the play. And Wilson caught the 34th touchdown pass of the season thrown by Rod Rutherford. Rutherford came into the game the 3rd ranked quarterback in the nation as far as TD passes are concerned. Second down and long. Reed goes nowhere on the draw play.
Miami's defensive line now starting to get the feel of this football game. They know they must stop Myrie in order to put pressure on the quarterback. They believe they can sack Rod Rutherford if they can stop the run. And at Wilfork, he is something. 6 sacks, 52 tackles, coming in as a defensive tackle. That many tackles for a big guy inside. What a football player. You know, Sean Taylor usually lines up every time the same side as Larry Fitzgerald.
3rd down for Rutherford with 2 wide and split backs. The draw play, hoping to pick up a little field position. And short of the 20-yard line is Baraka Atkins-Roxy, and it'll be punt time. And here comes a weapon for Pittsburgh. Andy Lee, the senior from Westminster, South Carolina, is averaging better than 44 yards a punt. Number 1 in the Big East. And 10th overall in the nation. Now back to return is Roscoe Parrish. And on this cold night, not easy kicking the football. A heavy thud, and Parrish has a returnable punt. Midfield, dances. But down at the 48-yard line. Brock Berlin, 48 yards away with the end zone.
My name's Brock Berlin, quarterback for the University of Miami. My favorite athlete is Brett Favre. Favorite movie is Tombstone, probably one of the all-time classics. Favorite food, steak and potatoes. Mom can cook it up good.
So here's Brock Berlin. Mom would whip him up a nice steak if he can take this team on into the FedEx Orange Bowl here tonight. From the 48-yard line, play fake. Berlin's going to send it deep on first down. Parries the receiver. Parries off his arms, incomplete. Second down. Coverage that time by Bernard Lay, the sophomore.
Second time Miami's used this formation. Unbalanced line. Only 2 receivers go out. They wanted to throw the home run ball. Lay just kind of cuts off the receiver, perfectly turns around, no panic, reaches up and tips the ball away. Nice coverage.
And it was interesting as you watched them hand fighting. We were down in the officials' locker room before the start of the game, and they talked about that is legal when you hand fight down the field, as long as that defensive back goes for the ball at the end and not holding onto his hand. And the run by Payton. Now check that now. That's Tyrone Moss, the freshman from Pompano Beach.
Talk to the Miami people. They say Moss is coming on very strong. All he needed was reps. And with the injury to Frank Gore and the bumps and bruises that Payton has had, he's gotten more and more reps, and he's coming on.
3rd and 1. Go straight on behind the left side of the line for the first down, and he breaks it inside the 35-yard line. A powerful run that time by Moss. And a reminder, at the end of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game for each team, and Chevrolet makes a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Let's send it down to Jack.
Well, Brent, believe it or not, it's been 10 years since Miami played in temperatures this low. In fact, they lost to West Virginia back in 1993. The last time they played, though, they beat this Pittsburgh team, and they beat them in 39-degree weather.
Here is Moss again to the 30-yard line on first down.
Miami doing a little more unbalanced line than I've seen. Didn't do it much against Tennessee in the game we did. Watch them on tape. Just a little different wrinkle. They're trying to get Pittsburgh. Remember, this is a Pittsburgh defense that has been run on. West Virginia over 300 yards. Their best game Pittsburgh had all year was against Syracuse, but this isn't Syracuse. This is power running, and Miami's been featured.
Winston and Carey on the left side of that offensive line. Kellen Winslow's over there. They run behind him. The dayline touchdown. They won't catch Moss. Tyrone Moss behind the left side. Vernon Carey and Eric Winston blow it open. The senior from Miami and the sophomore from Midland, Texas. That's where the power is up front for the Canes.
They pull it a backside guard around Joe McGrath. He comes in just right off his block, inside off Brian Bennett. And Tyrone Moss almost stops himself here. I don't know if he pulled up or tripped or what, but nobody was going to catch him but him.
John Petty, the redshirt freshman from Clearwater, Florida, has tied the score at 7. Pittsburgh and Miami are all even. The power running game for the Canes. Jerry, can you imagine how cold those horns are over there, partner?
It's the lips on the horns. Do they take them off or not? I don't know if they get them. I guess this is about the best you could expect for late November in this Pittsburgh-type climate, isn't it?
Well, the Steelers have a game tomorrow against Cincinnati, so there are scouts from both of those teams over in the press box. I was talking with them, and they said, "Hey, this is good weather for Cincinnati and Pittsburgh."
Well, that's a 1 o'clock game. This is an 8 o'clock game. I think we've seen the game plan. You're not going to see Larry Coker let Brock Berlin lose this game for him. He's going to run the ball until Pittsburgh proves they can stop it.
Argent with the kickoff that is fielded at the 10 by Allen. Allen at the 25, 30. and Pittsburgh's in business.
Pittsburgh knew they needed big plays. They thought the big plays would come from the passing game. They've got him with a turnover. Now they get him right up there. Terrell Allen, nice cut off the block right there. Cuts right behind William Tutu Ferguson's block number 27. And then only one guy could get him, and that was Merriweather. Now you wonder if they'd go at Fitzgerald. They haven't thrown a ball his way, just one, the pass interference call.
He's down to the right side of the formation on 1st down and 10. Myrie, the running back. Myrie on a fake. Rutherford sacked again. Held the ball too long that time. At the 36, he's sacked by linebacker D.J. Williams, who played on that great high school out in Northern California, De La Salle, and he sacks Rutherford for the 2nd time.
I'll tell you, Miami did a good job of jamming Larry Fitzgerald, the safety, deep down the field, maybe 15 yards downfield. That's one of the reasons Rutherford couldn't let go of the ball. He saw Fitzgerald just go off stride and got nowhere to throw it.
2nd and 18. Rutherford under pressure again, sets the screen to the left. And they do not get back to the original line of scrimmage. That great hurricane speed defends that play very well that time. Alfonso Marshall, the senior from Clewiston, number 25, was involved in blowing that play up.
Gain of about 5. 3rd down, 14.
Vilma, number 51, he passes the signal on to the rest of the defense.
Vilma, such a heady player. One of 2 starters that are still on this football team for the 2001 National Championship. Vilma and D.J. Williams, the 2 linebackers.
Fitzgerald split out to the right. Teens drop back. Now Rutherford looks middle again, short of the 1st down. Complete at the 20-yard line. Brockengrove, the receiver that time, and Alfonso Marshall made the stop. No yards after catch against this Miami speed in that secondary. And it's a big 4th down decision coming up now. And they're going to take a timeout to discuss it. It is 4th and about 2. Timeout. 12 seconds left in the opening quarter. We remind you, we're coming up with the Capital One halftime show. John, Terry, and Greg will have highlights and analysis from the games, and an interview with Oklahoma coach Bob Stoops, who is going to lose his co-defensive coordinator, Mike Stoops. His brother is going to become the next head coach at Arizona. And on the sideline, they had 2 reserve quarterbacks frantically signaling the play-in, and Rutherford was not sure what they wanted him to do, and so according to Jack Harut down on the field, they elected to call that timeout. And it also enabled the coaching staff to decide, let's just kick the field goal, take the burden off the quarterback. And so here is David Abdul, a 37-yard attempt, wind coming right to left at 8 miles an hour. To the left, he pulled it, no good. Miami football. Kicking is going to be very decisive in conditions like tonight. It is not easy.
2nd time this Miami defense has answered the bell. Remember the turnover? They came back out and got a 3 and out. Now the long kickoff return. They get a stop and then a missed field goal. That was really botched by Pittsburgh. Not only did they call a timeout with only 12 seconds left in the quarter on a misread by Rutherford, they had to kick the ball into the wind. So self-inflicted wounds. It's tough to beat a great team like Miami when you're doing those things.
Brock Berlin under center. Final seconds of the opening quarter. Play. Tyrone Moss staying in as the Miami running back. Crosses the 25-yard line as we come to the end of the 1st quarter. Deadlocked at 7, and we're back after this message and a word from our ABC station. So we begin the second quarter. Miami and Pittsburgh deadlocked at 7, and the winner will be co-champion along with West Virginia of the Big East, but the winner also expected to receive the BCS bid, probably to the FedEx Orange Bowl. Second down for Brock Berlin. Moss has taken over as the running back, and he is stopped just short of the 30-yard line. And we check back in with Craig James on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Craig?
All right, Brent, here's your Killian's update. A little balance by the Irish offense. Play action. True freshman Brady Quinn, 65 yards to Matt Shelton. Quinn's 4 of 5 on the day. And I know you're keeping up with it. Julius Jones on the ground, 9 carries, 106 yards, along with 1 touchdown, Brent.
106 yards already in the first quarter, Craig. Heck, that's more than you used to get with SMU, my friend. First down now for Moss. And I've got to bring in my friend Gary Danielson because I want to go back to that botched play and the timeout. The quarterback on the sideline was going like this, and you got to figure it out.
I think they were telling him, we're not calling a play. Wait till the end of the quarter. And sometimes those are tough to read, but those things happen. It's what I've seen so far. Pittsburgh can throw, Miami can run, but when Pittsburgh throws, Miami can sack. Pittsburgh better run.
Get my Reed back into the rhythm of this game, in other words, folks, on this cold night in Pittsburgh. First down and 10, 14 minutes to go. And Brock Berlin got an open man cross midfield with the completion. So Brock Berlin hits Centereese Moss again, the sophomore from Miami. And
very nice route here. Moss is going to come in, come out, and go right to the sideline this time. Very beautiful. Nice throw. Best one of the game for Brock Berlin. Little play action pass. If you can run the ball, you can play action pass it. Throws it right over the outstretched arms of Brian Brennett, number 44, the inside linebacker. And that's the way when you play quarterback, you can move the chains. Run a little bit, then the play action passes. Where's Kellen Winslow, though? If you run the ball, you should be able to get the ball to the tight end.
So we've got a timeout. It's been called by Miami, and we'll take a break. So this falls under the heading of go figure. 2 of the greatest in college football, and nothing, Gary, but goose egg.
Both receivers are getting jammed. Both receivers are opening up areas for the other players to get the ball, but both receivers have to catch the ball, I think, for their team to win.
First down and 10. Jared Payton back on the field. Gilliard makes the stop. Well, here's our Aflac trivia question. Being in Pittsburgh, we wanted to ask something about the Panthers. So who was the head coach of Pittsburgh's 1976 National Championship team? Let me see. I got to give you a hint. He is more identified with another team than Pittsburgh, but he did a great job back in 1976. And now Walt Harris has brought this school back to prominence and a chance to make a BCS bowl here tonight if they can beat Miami. Second down. Brock Berlin has the middle. There's Kellen Winslow's first reception of the game, and it is for a first down across the 40-yard line for the Canes.
Look at the tilt of the secondary. There's the free safety. There's the strong safety. Brock Berlin and Kellen Winslow the same direction. You get a strong safety blitz, read perfectly, pitch and catch. That's what happens when you run the ball well. As Tez Morris comes up and makes the tackle, you should be able to get that tight end in that intermediate seam right there.
High formation. Here comes the blitz. Short drop, read perfectly, complete for 7 yards. Ryan Moore, the redshirt freshman from Orlando. Craig, the Irish must be going up and down the field out west, my friend.
Yeah, Brent, they are. It's kind of a nice homecoming from former coach Ty Willingham at Stanford. They're getting it done in every phase of the game. Big punt return sets up this 4-yard dash by Ryan Grant. They decided to give it to somebody other than Julius Jones. Back to you, Brent.
I think they're trying to show everybody, Craig, that they deserve a bowl bid after all if they can win their last 2 against Stanford and Syracuse. But there's no openings, and here is Payton finding an opening across the 25-yard line. It'll be a 1st and 10 for the Hurricanes And we check in with Jackaroo.
Well, Brent, there was a question mark during the summer as to whether Jared Payton would return for his 5th year here at the Miami Hurricanes. That was until his mom, Connie, got wind of it. She took him aside and said, you are going back to school. You've got to increase your focus. You got to stay positive. She explained that those were the qualities that made his late father such a great running back.
And Connie, I'm sure, is back home watching. And her son was hoping that she could be here tonight as Moss steps in as the lead back on this first down. So the running game is doing the job for Miami. 91 yards here in the first half. They have 141 total yards of offense. They have passed already for 50 yards here. Remember, they haven't had a 100-yard passing game in each of their last 2 outings.
Yeah, but you can see the game plan. They run the ball at Eric Winston, number 74, and number 60, Vernon Carey. They like to be left-handed. Those are the best 2 offensive linemen. Then they pull the offside guard, McGrath, right there to that side.
McGrath stepping into that lineup as Myers moves over to center. There they are, favoring the left. And Moss behind the 2 pile drivers on that side. Next Saturday, we have a great college football triple header. Speaking of the Irish, they'll play Syracuse. Then at 4:30 Eastern, Oregon State battles USC. USC must win, of course. And then at 8 Eastern, the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship, Kansas State, Oklahoma.
Pittsburgh in a tough spot here. They don't know if Miami's going to run it or throw it.
The Canes looking for 3 yards. They'll run Moss. Cut back home. First down, Miami. And a penalty flag comes late.
Flag down. .51 Blades on the stop of Pittsburgh.
Tacked on. Personal foul.
Well, they've been running this play back to the left side, but watch number 81. He's not catching a lot of balls, but watch him block on this play. Follows it, counter action, reads the block by McGrath, comes outside, helps out, and turns up for that first down. Good job by Kellen Winslow. A lot of pro scouts will love that. We know he can catch the ball. We know he can run after he catches it. We know he can do interviews after the game. Now he's showing he can block.
Yeah, he gave the media down there in South Florida a lot to write and talk about following the Tennessee loss with his locker room outburst.
I don't think one NFL team will be afraid to draft this guy.
First and goal. Here's Moss straight ahead to the end zone. Touchdown. Miami takes the lead as Tyrone Moss, the freshman from Pompano Beach, powers in for the go-ahead score.
Boy, they follow number 81 again. I know they're pulling guards, but when you don't throw the ball to Winslow, why not run the ball at Winslow? Same play the other way. Same thing other way on 2. Hunk it up in there, gets a little help this time for Carey, and just pushes it into the end zone.
John Petty hasn't missed an extra point this year. He's still perfect. 34 of 34 for the redshirt freshman. Kellen Winslow. He can do it all. And he'll be doing it soon on Sunday. The Canes go 80 yards after Pittsburgh missed that 37-yard field goal to take the lead. Gent, the kickoff specialist. The ball on the tee. He's a sophomore from Fort Lauderdale. Return men are up on the 5-yard line. Allen hoping he can get another good return.
Yeah, I think we've seen the end of Larry Fitzgerald being a decoy.
It's about Fitzgerald time. This one is Ferguson. 26-yard line. Well, here comes Taylor, the all-everything safety. I know some of the fellows who are great players have him at the very top of the list here.
And I agree. One of the best players in college football. He's got the full package. An opposing guy. I mean, he's big safety out there. Like a brick wall as a safety, too. You run at him, you don't go through him. and he reads plays, runs and passes as well as any safety since Ed Reed. Remember, Ed Reed used to do that very well for Miami. I think he's going to impact player in the NFL.
And Reed's still doing it for Baltimore. Outstanding rookie safety in the National Football League. Pick up 4 yards before John Vilma makes the stop as we move to the top of the hour here with Gary Danielson and Jack Arute. I'm Brett Musburger. We take you back. We've had 3 touchdowns as Pittsburgh struck first on the Rutherford pass, his 34th touchdown of the season. Moss tied the score with his first touchdown, and then his second just moments ago, and Miami took its first lead of the game. Now 2nd and 6, and Ferguson, trying to make a statement for the Heisman, has been shut out here tonight as Rutherford is short of the first down, out of bounds at about the 33. And DJ Williams, there is a penalty flag.
Well, that was a run play all the way for Rod Rutherford that time.
Against Miami.
And this is a tough call against Miami because this guy, when he runs the ball, doesn't step out of bounds very lightly. This was last year in this game. Turns it up and sends one to Vilma. Here's this year's play coming up. Rod Rutherford just ran around the left end and got a late call. Now, is he going out of bounds or not? Here comes DJ, gets hit. Ball's cut loose. I don't see anything yet. Don't see anything yet. Couldn't have been on that play. Had to be something else. Mr. Musburger.
Well, I'm waiting for an explanation from Jack Arute.
They thought it was timeout call, I think.
1st and 10.
That was a good play by DJ Williams.
I wonder if he caught him up in the head here with that hit. Rutherford fires it high, complete at the 40-yard line for another Pittsburgh first down. Chris Wilson, who scored the touchdown, makes the catch.
Nobody really exploits the tight end any better than Walt Harris does. He did it at Ohio State with Ricky Dudley. He's come here now. Chris Wilson, just one of those players that when you isolate the tight end against a safety, you can pick up yards. I'd like to see him put Wilson and Fitzgerald to the same side of the field, which they have here, and that will keep them from double teaming Fitzgerald.
Antrell Rowe, one of the best cover corners in the country, is all over Fitzgerald. And Sean Taylor up on the run that time. Well, earlier, remember now, we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Who was the head coach of Pittsburgh's 1976 national championship team? There he is, a young Johnny Majors, legend from Tennessee, and his ace running back, Tony Dorsett. That's right. That was before he became Tony Dorsett. He was Tony Dorsett, and he was a whiz here at Pittsburgh. The numbers retired here by the school, and movement by the right side of the offensive line will cost Pittsburgh 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 15 coming up.
Miami already has 2 sacks in this game.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
I think Walt, who calls the plays, does not want to let this thing get out of hand where that offensive line will be challenged and have to stop that sack-happy team.
He also must find a way to get the ball into the hands of number 1.
Absolutely.
Antrell Rowe out with him to the wide side of the field, number 6. He's off of him, a couple of yards, you can see, off to Rutherford's right. They come back with Myrie going nowhere, and it'll be 3rd and long. Vilma, the crowd not very happy with that play call. They want to see the ball thrown in the direction of number 1. We check in with Jack.
Well, Brent, you talk about that matchup between Antrell Rolle and, of course, Larry Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald with a record that is sitting sideways with Antrell Rolle. He made no mention about the fact that Antrell Rolle has not allowed a touchdown against him in 23 games. He said, I don't care who I play against. They're not coming into my territory and scoring a TD. We'll see.
Different coverage this time as Rolle jumps on the slot. Rutherford, though, looking to the left. Sack again. Number 17, DJ Williams, rolling in on the quarterback, and Pittsburgh must punt. The longer they go, Gary, the harder it's going to be to get Fitzgerald in the middle of this thing.
Well, Fitzgerald really was open on the play, but that's the problem. That's what the fans really, and maybe even us, don't quite understand. I think Walt Harris knows the limitations of his offense.
A quick snap to Lee. Gets it off. Parrish runs up into his own man and is down at the 20-yard line. It was like a quick kick that time by Pittsburgh. They didn't let Miami get set. Timeout.
Miami takes over first and 10. The ball at their.
The ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by the Chrysler PT Cruiser. Customize your life. Honey Nut Cheerios. Be happy, be healthy. And State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The ability of Miami to rush the ball, Brent, they're 3 for 4 on third down conversions. A year ago, when they were throwing the ball with Ken Dorsey, they were 1 for 9 against Pittsburgh in that game when it was 28-21. You can see the difference. You run the ball, you can pick up those short third down conversions.
Peyton is back in as the running back. Long handoff to him, and he crosses the 20 to the 21-yard line. We get word from Jack Arute and the officials, the Big East crew, passing on word that unsportsmanlike conduct down below was not on the hit, but one of the Miami players was taunting the Pittsburgh bench after the play, and so that's why the flag was thrown. Tom DeJoseph, Big East crew, Paul King is our umpire, Mello Campbell, Brennan Street, McInerney, good officiating crew here tonight. Second down. Short drop Berlin, and a catch by Parrish, but not much yardage on that.
Yeah, that's another one of those plays that Brock just tries to take because it's given to him. Those sometimes when you try to throw it so quick, you don't throw it very accurately. That should be a catch and a run of 3 or 4 yards. Now, third and long.
Third and 9. Gathers and Kevin Beard into the Miami offense. From the shotgun, Berlin under pressure, set the screen and set it up beautifully for Gathers. Down the right sideline, Gathers breaks free in a foot race. 10 stumbles down at the 1-yard line, brought down from behind by Shante Spencer, the senior from Rankin, Pennsylvania, who caught him at the 1.
It's going to be an all-out blitz, a bear package. Watch Kellen Winslow, number 81. The screen pass actually gets 2 blocks, gets one right there, then turns back and gets another one right there. Beautiful job by Winslow reading the play. Held up his man long enough and then turned back and got the pursuit on the play. Good saving tackle, but what a call by Rob Jasinski, a screen, something Miami does a lot in third and long.
And it's good for 78 yards. Peyton is the running back. Winslow sets the power to the left, and here comes Peyton. Touchdown.
Well, that's a gamble. Brock Berlin fell down. He got tripped by the guard, and he pitched it to Peyton. It was supposed to be a handoff.
All's well that ends well.
Absolutely. Watch him get stepped on right there. It's supposed to be that long stretch handoff. Can't get there, so he pops it to him. Can you imagine if that ball would have been fumbled? Brock Berlin would have had to use that sociology degree again.
The extra point is good by John Petty. And there's a penalty flag on the field. The way Miami's reacting, they're going to go off anyway. That it's going to be good conversion here.
Boy, Winslow, what a play. What a heads-up play by Winslow on the long screen pass.
Offside on the defense, lined up in the neutral zone. Penalty is declined. Point is good. Timeout.
So Kellen Winslow leading the way. Shields
How about you guys hit
sees the
someone?
screen is set.
Let's go!
Makes initial contact, drops back, picks off a second man. Doing the little things, and Miami leads it 21-7.
ABC Sports welcomes you back to this week's BCS Spotlight Game presented by ADT.
If you're from South Florida and it's around 30 degrees and 20 winds, you're not celebrating a touchdown, you're staying warm, Gary.
That's exactly right. When I played in the Dome in Detroit, I didn't have to do that. I went to Cleveland. You learn how to do that.
I think you're right, though. I think I saw Jack Arudo there in the middle of those guys bouncing up and down.
Jack was the guy without any rhythm.
Pittsburgh needs to pick it up here. They're down 2 touchdowns. Short kickoff fielded on the wrong 20-yard line by Ferguson. Ferguson cuts right, looks out. 35, good return out to the 39-yard line. Well, Gary, take a look for us at our Chrysler passing playbook.
Well, it's 3rd and long. You've made 3 out of 4, but they were short yardage. So what do? You expect the blitz. 3rd and 9, you go with the screen pass, but you cross your receivers. You know it's man-to-man. You dump it off, and then you say, go ahead. We got 2 big linemen in front of you. We got a tight end that knows how to play the game, and we got a running back that can't be beat. You can't be caught. Yeah, he's caught. Boy, Brock Berlin is saying, I should have had a touchdown pass on that big one.
Rutherford slant and incomplete. He wanted number 1. One of our subplots unfolding is that Larry Fitzgerald, from all the straw polls, indications are he's a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. The sophomore receiving whiz from Minneapolis. He is being shut out here tonight. Pittsburgh scored on its first series. Since then, -11, 9, 23 yards, 2 punts, and a missed field goal. Here is 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Rutherford on the night is 5 for 6, and that's his first miss of the night. Quarterback draw play going nowhere against this Miami defense. So while there has been criticism this year of the Miami offense, in no way could you ever criticize this defense. They're as good as advertised, as good as ever. Vilma with the play. And the one thing Coker and his staff have not said publicly this week, but they love the prospect. They absolutely relish the prospect of the possibility that they could have a rematch with Ohio State in the FedEx Orange Bowl. They have not said a word, but everybody quietly is saying, oh, please, please. 3rd down. Rutherford fires left-handed, incomplete. Rockenborough was over in that area, and it'll be 3 and out here. Gary, what's going on?
Well, that time, you know, it's a little bit of everything from this Miami defense. That's why they're so good. One time it's the pass rush, the next time it's the speed at linebackers, and the next time it's a combination coverage in the secondary. This Miami defense is more complicated and sophisticated than they were last year. They're doing more things, and I have a suspicion that Mark Stoops has had his imprint on this defense.
Lee's high punt. Parrish is going to let it go, and it'll go out of bounds. Well, I know one little girl who is not happy about what's happening here, and this is the super fan of the Pittsburgh Panthers. She was born in January 7, 2001. Missed 1 home game, and her first words after mom and dad were Rod Rutherford. And Larry Fitzgerald keeps a picture of this young lady in his wallet. She's up there right now. Brenda's saying, come on, Panthers, let's go. Let's get something done here. Come on, defense.
Yeah,
she's a cutie.
They have a tough one right here. They can't stop the run. They know that. They have to move the safeties up, and sooner or later, one of those speed receivers are going to get the ball deep.
Tyrone Moss, the running back in this series. There's that Winslow, that H-back look. He's been such a good, fierce blocker here tonight, leading the way again for Moss. I'll tell you, Kellen Winslow is making a lot of money. Well, he had already made a lot, but he's making more. And let's check in now with John Terry and Craig in New York.
Well, Brett, coming up on the Capital One halftime show, we'll have scores and highlights. Plus, we'll talk to Oklahoma head coach Bob Stoops.
Yeah, you got to wonder how he's going to do with his brother Mike now taking the job to Arizona. Will that affect his play calling?
And do you think we can figure out what's going on in the SEC? I don't know.
Probably not. They can't. It's all coming up on the Capital One halftime show.
Hey, John, you got to remind Terry that his father let Mark Richt call the plays in that national championship game after he'd been named the coach at Georgia. That will not happen. Will not happen with Mike Stoops. He will not be there for the Nokia Sugar Bowl. He will be there with us next Saturday in Kansas City for the Big 12 championship. And why not? Nobody knows Coach Snyder's tendencies any better than Mike Stoops, who was the co-defensive coordinator at Kansas State before he moved down to Oklahoma. And of course, Gary just mentioned the third brother, who's a member of the coaching staff here at Miami. That is Mark Stoops. And I wonder if Mike might not take him to the desert as a defensive coordinator. He works with the defensive backs. Or the fact he might go to Oklahoma and join his brother Bob's staff. We'll see how that unfolds. And what a great defensive play that time by Malcolm Postel, the senior, number 6. He blew that play up, Gary.
Same screen pass, only this time, as you look at Mark Stoops right there, only that time Pittsburgh and Paul Rhodes, the defensive coordinator for Pittsburgh, had a zone coverage on. Didn't work as well, and Postel comes up and makes the cleanup. You know, I'm seeing a different Kellen Winslow tonight, though, Brent. I don't see that bad body language that I saw a couple games ago. I talked to the coaches there, and they said we've talked to him about it, and he realizes how important and how many people watch him during the game.
So we'll take a break. Miami's up 2 touchdowns. Kellen Winslow is only a junior, but I proposed this to him, that if he declared for the NFL next year, he could possibly be a top 10 choice. Would he go to the NFL, I asked.
I think I'm ready. You know, I've worked my butt off to get where I am now, and I think I'm ready. That's been my dream my whole life.
And Gary, you think tonight he's more than ready?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. He's a top 5 pick. I can think of one team that I live very close to that could use a tight end.
I think there's a lot of teams would like to have that big fella.
Yeah, and he's showing that, you know, you coach him up, and they've asked him to be, you know, not that he wasn't a team player before, but he sometimes let his emotions get the best of him. Tonight, they're asking him to play a different role, and he's doing it. And I think a lot of scouts are going to love that about him. We all know he can catch.
So here's 3rd down. Coming up for Brock Berlin. They're getting the clock.
Scoreboard's down, I think.
There's no 25-second clock, you can see. So timing a problem here. This is a beautiful stadium, even though we're having a clock problem. It sits, I didn't know that it was as close as it is, Gary, to the baseball stadium just across the way. Let's go back, and we have talked about Kellen Winslow as a blocker.
Well, they've made him part of this game plan, and the major part of the game plan is they'd asked him to sacrifice a few receptions and get involved in an offense that needs to run the ball more than in the past. And he's done it. He's caught 1 pass, but he's totally been in the game.
So they will come up now with the 1:48 left, we are told, in the first half. So the back judge on the field will keep the time, gathers, cuts back, keeps going. First down to the 46-yard line.
Oh, you got to tackle if you're Pittsburgh. That was just terrible. 3rd and long. Miami's willing to punt it, and they get a first down. Just a sweep to the side like this. Now watch Pittsburgh. They have this place stopped. And you can see Miami believes they can run the ball not only to run the clock out, but maybe make a first down. Runs right through an easy tackle there. By Crochenis right there, and gets into the secondary. Where's the linebacker? Where's the defensive backs on that play? That's an embarrassment for Pittsburgh.
Plenty of time for the Canes. Brock Berlin. Gun gathers in, and that time there was a tackle by Postel, and a good one. Well, there's a war being waged between the FBI and the mob, and you'll get both sides of the story. An all-new Line of Fire Tuesday at 10/9 Central on ABC, and viewer discretion's advised. 2nd down, moving quickly here. The final minute of the half.
You can still see how conservative Miami is. I mean, Brock Berlin has really not earned the confidence of his staff yet. They don't want him to make a turnover. They feel like they control the game, and they're not willing to make a mistake late in the half here.
Now, the clock is not on the bug up there in the left-hand corner of your screen simply because the clocks are off here. They have just told us 45 seconds and running, third down. So a first down would stop it. As they come inside of 40 seconds. Defensive line did not hold out the rush that time, and Berlin is sacked by Lewis Moore, the linebacker who got in and wasn't picked up.
Both teams have a timeout left, and I think Pitt should use it. And they do. Might be able to block a punt. That's what I'd go after. Or maybe they get a long return.
We check in down below with Jack over. Jack.
Well, Brent, we're playing at Heinz Field. Well, let's take a look at the University of Pittsburgh. Their undergraduate enrollment. They're just about 4 miles away. Their campus is one of a couple of city campuses in Big East football. What we mean by that is that there is no distinct campus itself. But the home of the Cathedral of Learning was built in 1926. It's the focal point on campus. It's the second tallest educational building in the world. There's only one that's about 20 feet taller at the University of Moscow. But the reason that it was built, Brent, the Cathedral of Learning, is the president of the university, when he arrived here by train, asked a taxi cab driver, take me to the University of Pittsburgh. The cab driver back in 1926 didn't know where it was, and he basically said, well, we're going to build a building so everybody will know where the University of Pittsburgh is, thus the Cathedral of Learning.
Interesting, Jack. You were able to find the library. Good lad. 5 seconds, we are told by the officials on the field. That's what we have left here. So, like Gary said, why not go for a punt block?
Yeah, the one thing that Miami doesn't want, Pittsburgh doesn't want to do is field the punt now. They don't want to make a mistake, fumble the punt. The only thing they should go is go for the punt block or get nothing out of it. I don't even know if Miami's going to.
Tell Winslow.
They might not.
Come back out. They're not even going to punt. They're just going to run it out. Brock Berlin will be under center. They're not going to give a chance for the punt block. Moss stays in bounds.
Moss on the carry.
That should do it here in the first half. So Miami heads on into the locker room, leading 21-7. Brock Berlin, 10 of 13 for 126 yards. We go back down below to Jack.
Well, Coach, are you surprised that you've not been able to get the ball to your wide receiver, Fitzgerald?
When we tried, we got sacked, so it's been tough. And we had one over here, and we threw it low into the ground.
So how disturbing is that to you right now?
It's very disturbing. I hate to be down 21-7. That's the most disturbing.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
So Coach Harris goes on in the locker room, down 2 touchdowns, and his All-American wide receiver being shut out. The Pacific Life game summary first half stats. And Miami with 3 sacks to Pittsburgh's 1. There was only 1 turnover in the half, and that an interception thrown by Miami quarterback Brock Berlin. Out of whack? Well, folks, you know what it is. There's one thing that's really out of whack, and that's the fact that Larry Fitzgerald, Gary, has been shut completely down.
And it's been a good team defense. A little bit of coverage, a little bit of zone, a little bit of man-to-man, and then they've had just enough rush and no running game from Pittsburgh. Brandon Myrie.
Now, they deferred. Pittsburgh does. They get the ball now to start. Wouldn't you want to throw him a flanker screen or get him to football and something just to get him into the rhythm of the deal here?
I don't think that's a problem for Larry Fitzgerald. I think he's patient enough. I think they need to get him in the regular offense. I think if they lined up the tight end and the flanker together, Fitzgerald and Wilson together, they would do it. But Brandon Myrie also has to start running the ball. He started off, as you pointed out, 24 yards rushing on the first drive, ended up with 27. That ain't going to work.
No, they've got to come up back with a running game.
Absolutely.
The first series of the game, Great play calling, great execution, and then Pittsburgh never got back to their game. But we've got to give the Miami defense all the credit in the world, folks.
Well, they're as good as defense as we've seen. I mean, Oklahoma's the best, and I guess you put LSU, USC there. Remember, if this team doesn't lose to Tennessee, they'd be making an argument about going to this championship game.
You know, when you talk about the Heisman Trophy, everyone was expecting that Larry Fitzgerald would make a statement here tonight. 17 consecutive games, he's caught a touchdown pass. All the straw polls indicate that Jason White, the Oklahoma quarterback, might be the only player ahead of him. And you feel badly for him. He's such a terrific young man, only a sophomore here. And deep down, he really has to be feeling that he wants to do something here on the stage.
For his own team, he has to do something, not just for him. I mean, he has to get the ball.
There's number 1. He'll be ready to go to work here in the first series of the game. His father, of course, a media fellow who played some NFL football. He was an offensive lineman briefly with the New York Giants. And then he became a sports editor up in the Minneapolis area. And, of course, you're very familiar with the story. Larry's mother passed away of breast cancer, lost her battle earlier this year. And he's just a sensational young man. Let's go down below and check in with Jackaroo.
Well, Brent, I was fortunate to go into the locker room during halftime with the Pittsburgh Panthers, and it was very quiet, very businesslike. But two things that struck me. First, Walt Harris spent about 20 seconds at the end saying, fellas, that was the first 30 minutes. You made a lot of mistakes. Get focused. But what was more important is what J.D. Brooking, the offensive coordinator, did. He went to his wide receivers and specifically to Larry Fitzgerald. He said, Larry, we're going to get you the ball in the second half. They've come up with some different plays that they hadn't anticipated or used in the first half. He says, you are going to get the ball more in this second half. We'll wait and see.
Now, you know that the Miami defense is very goal-driven. And one of the things they were determined to do tonight was keep him out of the end zone. Not to shut him out. I mean, they're saying, look what we've got here as we start the second half. They show press at the top of your screen right away on number 1. Rutherford is under center. And we remind you that the clock has not yet been repaired, so you do not see the time. We'll pass it on. They'll tell us from down below on the field as they were unable to get the clock repaired here at the intermission.
You know, one of the interesting things in all of sports, Brent, is the wide receiver position. You have a lot of guys that show a lot of frustration at every level about not getting the ball. They're good athletes, but a wide receiver's unique in that everything kind of has to work around him to take advantage of him. You have to be able to run the ball a little bit, protect the passer. The passer has to get it to you. So it's not quite as simple as being the point guard or the running back or the quarterback. You have to find ways for the team to get you the ball.
Jennings is matched against Fitzgerald. Rutherford looks back to the left and comes in underneath to Brockenbrook. Roll, Antero Roll, the junior from Homestead, makes the play for the Hurricanes. Third down is coming up.
Well, coming into this football game, Rod Rutherford had thrown 40 touchdown passes. He has one tonight, so it's 41 touchdown passes and only 12 interceptions in his last 15 games. He needs to have the second half of his career versus this Miami team. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to run a lot of running plays except for draws. It's going to be almost 2-minute offense.
Now they've got in the crossing pattern to Fitzgerald for the first and 10. That time it was Alfonso Marshall was the corner, and Fitzgerald, his first catch of the game, and some derisive cheers from the stands here as Fitzgerald makes a catch.
And not against Larry Fitzgerald, not against Miami, more directed at the play calling for Pittsburgh and not throwing the ball enough to their best player.
He's off to the right. He'll be split in that direction.
As we talked about, the good players can catch the ball in traffic, and he can.
They bring him in motion, Antero Roll. They're going to bring him on an end-around fake, and Rutherford's going to go back deep. 20, 10, out of bounds. Greg Lee, the freshman from Tampa, Florida. A new look, a new wrinkle on that play. Fitzgerald coming around. They fake it to him on the end around and take it deep to the freshman.
See Rutherford coming right here, comes back. Here's Greg Lee, comes in and back out, but Rod Rutherford makes a great throw with a player right in his face. I think it was a DJ Williams, number 17. No, it wasn't. It was the other side, but he threw it right perfectly to the outside.
The fullback and not Myrie. Across the 15-yard line. This drive is so important for Pittsburgh, and Lusaka Polite, the senior from North Braddock, carried it.
Yeah, we talked about the pressures. He let this thing go. Just as he was letting it go, he's getting the shove inside by Orion Harris that time, and he knew that big guy was coming down on him.
Ball just shy of the 10-yard line. Second down coming up for Rutherford and the Panthers. Rutherford slips down at the 15-yard line, lost 5 yards on the play, and it will bring up 3rd and 11 from the 15-yard line.
There was no pass-run option on that. That was run-run option. That was a called running play to the quarterback, and no one was fooled for that Miami defense.
This is the position on the field where Fitzgerald has been lethal against every team that he's been matched against. The fade can be thrown, and you know Miami knows it, and they are determined that number 1 will not make a touchdown catch. He's slotted off to the right side now. You see him right there. Rutherford goes back, steps up, fires middle, intercepted.
Sean Taylor.
So Sean Taylor picked him up that time, and number 26 makes the pick and shows you why he's the number 1 safety in the country and a leading candidate for the Bednarik Award given to the best defensive player of the year.
There's Taylor right over there to the outside. They bracketed him. Sean Taylor, Red Rutherford. Watch him beat him to the spot. Fitzgerald comes across. Ball's thrown a little bit too far. But Sean Taylor's about as good as there is at safety, as when that ball gets in his area, he grabs it. That's his 7th interception of the year. He leads the Big East.
Yeah, that's Gary. That's number 8.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, came in with 7. You're right.
And 3 of them he'd taken back for touchdowns. So he makes number 8, and it's down at the 14-yard line. First down and 10. And the handoff goes to Payton, who opens the second half as the running back, and Spencer tackles him at the 1-yard line. A hard run that time. Spencer coming up with the stop for the Panthers.
Pittsburgh's defense just has to be shaking their head. That time Jarrett Payton slips and falls down. The play was designed to go to the left. He gets up and gains 7 yards on the play.
Winslow coming in motion. He's been an awesome blocker here tonight. He shakes off the first, dives for the first down across the 25-yard line.
Claude Harriet, preseason All-American, All Big East a year ago. Bit of a disappointment this year, but he is right there to make the tackle again. Play's going nowhere. Harriet's right there on the tackle, can't wrap him up, and that is a very nice run by Jarrett Payton that time. Pick up both plays basically with no blocking on the play for a first down.
Canes coming out from the 26-yard line. They have come to run on this Pittsburgh slap. Incomplete. Brock went to help out, knock him down as Harriet comes in that time and makes a positive play. And you can see Brock Berlin diving back on the ball. He was going to help knock it away if he could.
Harriet last year, All Big East, that's what I said. That's why he was a preseason All-American player. Sacked, had 21 tackles for a loss last year. This year has not lived up to his potential.
Basically, it has been one run formation after another for the Canes. One wide receiver, then sending Winslow over as an H-back to block. Giving it back to Payton. Payton powers close to the 35-yard line. And J.J. Horn, the junior from Franklin, Pennsylvania, with the stop.
Tyrone Gilliard that time, the safety, had a chance to make this tackle right in the hole. Comes in, watch him just whiff again. Goes too low. Payton starts out one way, comes back the other way, there's a potential to make a tackle and just runs right through it.
Here's third down. Panthers need a stop. Tyrone Moss in is the running back. Gets the call. Cuts back for the first down. Has it. So the running game is being featured here tonight. And the Canes have run for 165 yards. They have passed the 100-yard mark passing tonight for the first time in 3 games. They have 291 yards of very balanced offense. But remember of that is you take a look at their entire season, how close it is between run pass. But here tonight, it is the run game that has been the difference, Gary, because many of those passing yards came on that 1 3rd down screen pass to Gathers.
Brent, I'm looking in the Miami box. Did Bill Cowher sneak into that box and call the plays for Miami tonight? Or is that Chuck Noll sitting in their box over there?
I think so.
From leaning out, I can't quite see, but one of those two, I think you must have to run the ball in this stadium. And I don't blame them tonight.
When you look at the numbers that running backs have put up against Pittsburgh this year, Miami said, why not? Let's just come to run. Even though the offensive line has been juggled. Moss slamming straight ahead for 4 more yards. We go down below to Jack.
Well, Brent, it's never been Moss's running ability that's kept him out of Miami's starting lineup. In fact, it was his blocking ability. But in high school, Tyrone Moss put up some pretty good numbers. He rushed for over 7,000 yards in his career. He capped it with a senior season of 2,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, and a Florida Class 5A championship.
And that's playing with the big fellas down there, too. Over 100 yards, Tyrone Moss. He and Peyton both having good nights. Moss comes back, and he is stopped right around midfield.
I wonder where all the Miami receivers are. You think they're standing by the heater over there? There they are. They're the receivers. They're just warming up. A few DBs. Don't need them tonight at all. 2 tight ends, 1 receiver.
Well, Winslow himself has only caught 1 pass for 9 yards. Fitzgerald 1 pass for 5 yards. And those were the 2 players who came in with everybody raving about them. But Winslow has done his part as a blocker here tonight. He has indeed been a warrior. I won't call him a soldier because that got him in trouble the last time he did that. Moss for the first down again. And he could be the running back future for the Miami Hurricanes. We'll have to see if Frank Gore can come back from knee surgery again. The key play, the interception. Pittsburgh driving to start the second half. Sean Taylor stepping up and just taking it away from Fitzgerald. Just a sensational interception by Taylor. He would not let arguably the best receiver in the country make the grab that time. Now it's first down and 10. Brock Berlin and Miami keeping it on the ground, pounding away. Pump fake this time now. Going deep, got a man. Touchdown, Miami. Parrish. And Brock Berlin off a pump fake gets him open for a 45-yarder. And what that does for Berlin's confidence. He ran all the way down in the end zone to embrace his wide receiver. And this Cane offense looking better and better.
It's a slant and go, just a little wiggle in from the outside. It's been run, run, run. Look at the inside technique right there. Comes in, looks back, and boom, he's by Ferguson very simply. Ball doesn't have to be thrown perfectly, but just good enough. You never want to miss one of those wide open guys, and Brock Berlin didn't do it.
Then he adds the extra point. You know, it's easy to say that the Canes do it with talent. But I must say that Larry Coker and the entire coaching staff came in here with a sensational game plan. They have used the run to set up the pass, and they lead it now by 3 touchdowns. Timeout. 7:25 left in the third quarter. Let's talk about the BCS. Now, if Miami wins this, they would become the Big East champion. The FedEx Orange Bowl then must choose between the Big East, Miami, or the ACC champion, Florida State. So that would be their choice, and then they would go from there. Of course, the top 2 teams move to the Nokia Sugar Bowl. Here is our BCS standings presented by Allstate. Right now, Oklahoma leads USC But the Trojans have to hold off LSU as LSU heads on into the SEC championship game next Saturday night in Atlanta against one of 3 teams. Georgia looking pretty good tonight after Florida lost. What a great football game that was against Florida State in the swamp in Gainesville. Remember the name Chris Leak, folks. He is a sensational quarterback for the Gators. He's going to have a great career down there. 28-7 here. Pittsburgh has been struggling. They had a drive that might put them right back in the thick of this, and Rutherford had a pass that was picked off by Taylor. Now running to the left and going nowhere. Put a move on Vilma. Remember, Gary showed you that play in the first half. Well, this time it is Vilma. He's waited a long time. They ridiculed him when they ran the play in front of the team. The coaches taped last year. He's had to hear for a long time that Rutherford bowled him over. And Vilma said, not this time, my friend. And with a little help from Williams, down he goes.
Well, you've said, and correctly, I think Sean Taylor might be the best at his position. Larry Fitzgerald might be the best at his. Kellen Winslow might be the best at his. But Jonathan Vilma doesn't have to take a backseat to a lot of players either.
And that's a true. 2nd down and 12 now. Another quarterback draw. And Rutherford picks up the first down to midfield. Jack, what's up with the Hurricanes?
Well, Brent, when I was in Miami and Coral Gables on Tuesday, it was fairly evident and very quickly that this was a team whose personality had changed. Why? Instead of it being defense, special teams, and offense, and them being somewhat separate, in fact, sometimes getting into each other's grill, this was a team that only wanted to talk the terms we. In fact, Larry Coker told me that they talked all week about playing with one heart. It's obvious and evident to me that that's what they're doing, especially the way they're all supporting Brock Berlin.
Yeah, my hat's off to Coker here the last few weeks. I think he's done a terrific job. And tonight, paying a dividend is Rutherford is sacked again. That's a 4th sack as Wilfork and Carroll close in. And a reminder about Sunday Night Football on ESPN. It's the Buccaneers and the Jaguars. Brian Leftwich, a chance to look at him, the new quarterback for the Jaguars, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. It all starts with NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite at 7:30 Eastern.
I think, Brent, you named 2, but it could have been any one of 3 guys that got that sack for Miami's defensive line. They each got a third of Rod Rutherford on that play.
I've seen a half in that
I
sack
know.
deal. Yeah.
5 1/3 sacks.
Right. Just teeing off, aren't they?
Yes, they are. That's why Walt Harris continues to try to run the ball.
There's the shovel. Look at Wilfork close on the running back that time. What a job he did picking up Tim Murphy, the junior from Akron, Ohio.
Another potential #1 draft pick is right there, Vince Wilfork. Little stunt inside. Now watch him accelerate. Guy weighs 350, 60 pounds. You can't move him, and he's going to be a tremendous NFL football player. And this Miami defense is for real, people. That has not been the problem. It's not like Miami's dropped off the map here.
Well, this is a team that has beaten Florida State, Florida, went right down to the wire against Tennessee. A couple of costly interceptions in that game. They got Rutherford in trouble again. Gonna go deep. And he overthrew a wide open receiver.
Well, he's got a rocket, I'll tell you that. That ball traveled like a good 65, 70 yards in the air.
It was the freshman Greg Lee who had broken deep that time. So Andy Lee is on to punt. This is not the kind of night that Pittsburgh fans were anticipating. This was ballyhooed as the most important game for the Panthers since the 80s, and they were relishing a chance to make a BCS bowl and a statement here tonight. And instead it is Miami that has dominated since trailing by 7. Parrish runs up on it, and he brought down at the 32-yard line. Good tackle that time by Clint Session, the freshman from Pompano Beach, Florida. So right in the shadow of Coral Gables, Mr. Session says, I can play. You should have recruited me. Timeout. ABC Sports Presentation College Football is brought to you by Circuit City. We're with you. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up but never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. And Pontiac, the vote for this week's Ultimate Pontiac High Performance Play at ESPN.com/Pontiac. Miami dominating Pittsburgh. They came in with the third-ranked defense in the nation, giving up 264 yards a game. Here tonight, they've given up only 122. Moss, who has rushed for better than 100 yards, is the ball carrier. Well, it's Jackaboo. What's up with Mark Stoops, the third of the Stoops brothers?
Well, Brent, I had the opportunity to talk to Mark Stoops before the game. He asked me to wait until after halftime. He wanted to guard against giving the bad news by cell phone. Mark told me that he has already been approached by his brother Mike, and he has accepted the job of defensive coordinator at the University of Arizona. He's been coaching here all night. He is going to tell his players when they go back in the locker room after this game. He says, I've got bittersweet feelings about it, but I think it's time for me to go with my brother.
All right, Jack, good job on that story. Berlin with the completion as Kevin Everett, the junior tight end who suffered that painful drop on a fake field goal against Virginia Tech and who has scored more touchdowns this year than his Ballyhoo counterpart Kellen Winslow, makes a 24-yard catch on that play. He is the tight end of the future. He's from Port Arthur, Texas, and number 84. Good player. I know that you keep seeing that play over and over from that game, but he's better than that, and he knows it. First down and 10. Here comes Moss again. Battles his way just short of the 40-yard line. So we go back to the Mark Stoops story. We speculated he might join brother Mike down in Tucson or even join Bob Stoops' staff in Oklahoma. But Mark now will step up. He'll move from being the very good defensive backfield coach at Miami to being the defensive coordinator out at Tucson. So Stoops brothers move to Tucson to see what they can do in the Pac-10. And what a great story that will be watching out there. I'm sure they'll be very eagerly recruiting Southern California, Colorado. They'll drop on into Texas. Those brothers will be active. Just like they'll probably go head-to-head with Bob, Gary, and recruiting some of that Texas talent.
Yeah, but Bob will tell him the ones he doesn't want.
Well, tomorrow everything has changed except everything you love about the Emmy winning practice. Press calls it the #1 surprise of the new fall season. Part of Sunday's best, the practice 10, 9 Central on ABC.
Miami made a call over to a couple wide receivers over there, said time to go in for nickel, and they had to wake them up. What, we need more than one wide receiver? Let's find somebody.
Third down, and it seems so strange seeing two wideouts over there to the left. Receivers were snoozing on that side. Berlin snaps it off, incomplete. The pass was well thrown because you couldn't intercept it, and he was trying to get Hill. Quadrin couldn't quite reach down and catch it, but that ball was not going to be intercepted, Gary.
Now, I thought he could have gone to Kellen Winslow, though. He also had one-on-one coverage right there for the first down. There's the kickers. You know, you talk about the cold weather. It's the kickers that always feel it the most for whatever reason. They got the gloves. They got the mask. They got the long johns on. Then they shake it out of bounds.
You practiced with them in the NFL. You know what kickers are like. That's a beauty. And he was in the end zone when he touched it. They didn't quite realize that Jenkins was about a yard deep, so it'll come out to the 20-yard line. Miami with a 3-touchdown lead. Welcome back to the BCS Spotlight Game, presented by ADT. The winner here tonight, you get a BCS bowl bid. Miami. It could be the apple of the FedEx Orange Bowl's eye. Let me tell you, with that home crowd down there, we'll have to wait and see who they select. Florida State would probably like to stay in the Sunshine State, too. Here's a roll by Rutherford. He'll keep it now out of bounds at the 22-yard line. DJ Williams in to shoot that time. We're taking a look at the last drive, Gary.
Yeah, these great Miami defense has been making the plays, whether it's on the run or all four guys getting the sack up front, or whether it's even on the trick plays, the big defensive tackle sniffs it out. They got impact players at every level of this defense. This defense and Oklahoma's defense are the two in the country that has impact players at defensive line, linebacker, corner, and secondary. Safety, excuse me.
Fitzgerald with 1 reception tonight for 5 yards. His touchdown string on the line. Drop underneath, first down. Pittsburgh with Polite, the receiver from the backfield, being Taken down finally by John Vilma. He had a hard time. I am told by a lot of folks who follow Pittsburgh football that Polite is going to be a terrific 5th or 6th round draft choice for an NFL team. That he's the kind of guy who can come in unheralded and really help somebody. Make good catches out of the backfield, blocks well. Terrific kid to have on your team.
4-year player here. 50, one of the 8 fifth-year seniors they have on the football team here.
Rutherford got a little time. 1st and 10 from 13 yards. Just guessing. Sean Taylor unloaded.
You know, he returned interceptions for touchdowns, punts for touchdowns. He's blocked punts. He's made tackles like that in the secondary. He's made tackles on the running plays. As we showed in the first animation, he reads plays quickly. He's as good as you've seen in college football.
Has any safety ever been drafted #1 in the draft?
No, the highest is Roy Williams that I can remember in a while. Yeah, there's another double sack.
DJ Williams was in there along with Kareem Brown.
See, only 2 guys got him this time. Pittsburgh's improving.
So it's another defensive clinic. When you go back to last week against Rutgers, and let me first remind you the time permitting, the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report with John Terry and Greg. Stay tuned for highlights and analysis from games earlier today. Last week against Rutgers, 3 interceptions, 2 blocked punts, and 6 sacks. Keyed that 34-10 win, and it was only 6-3 at the intermission, remember. So this defense has been on a mission, and Rutherford is forced to run well short of the first down marker. Vilma there again, number 51. And talk about first-round draft choices. Vilma has to be considered in that.
Remember when we used to question whether linebackers like Vilma were big enough to play in the NFL? And then Zach Thomas did it. Dat Wynn did it. I mean, you see small. Even Ray Lewis, when he played in Miami, I don't remember him being, you know, big tower of strength. It just showed that if you can play the game and make tackles, you don't have to be 6'3".
3rd and 7. Gary, why do you think Pittsburgh's offense bogged down so badly after that first drive?
Can't run the ball. No confidence to pass protect right now. Here it is.
Another sack. That's Kareem Brown, number 99, coming in on him. That is the 6th sack of the game for this Miami defense against Rutherford, who is 11 of 15 for 128 yards. So when he has time to throw, he's been accurate.
Not bad, but you know, remember you said that the crowd was a little bit surprised by what they saw? This was the worst fear of the Pittsburgh staff. They wouldn't be able to run the ball, and the sack masters would take over.
With the score, Miami 28.
So we come to the end of the 3rd quarter. And ABC Sports presentation returns after this message and a word from our ABC station.
You're unbelievable.
Score by quarters. Miami with a touchdown, at least one in each quarter. Pittsburgh, scoring on its first drive of the game, has come up empty ever since. Here's Lee. Back to punt it. Joe Parrish to the 10-yard line. Middle. Penalty flag. Penalty flag has been thrown on this return by Parrish. He bolts over a defender out of bounds, but in all likelihood, this one is coming back because of the old block.
I think even Parrish knew it, didn't he?
I think so.
Went into the jog mode there for the last 25 yards.
Yep, coming back. And so I got to ask my friend Gary Danielson the tough question. We watched this Miami team. They were really looking
now,
good.
You understand, everybody, I have no idea what the question is.
He never does. All right? How could this team lose to Virginia Tech and Tennessee?
Well, I can understand the Virginia Tech game, but Miami has to be really feeling bad about the Tennessee
They would
game.
be going perhaps to New Orleans.
I think they'd have an argument. And You know, they're a good football team. They're not vintage Miami. And, you know, if that matchup that you like, Ohio State, Miami, in one of the bowls.
I know who won't be officiating that. Just kidding. Okay. Just kidding.
Is the third game back in Columbus if they have to play?
Standing up for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, well, gee, they beat them once, then they get to go play them at their place. That's real fun.
Yeah, the Buckeyes might not want that trip down to Miami.
Well, I'll tell you what, they won't be able to run the ball in Ohio State like this if they play Ohio State, I'll tell you that.
But this is a sensational defense, and I think the point is they've struggled so much on offense, but you got to give Coker and the staff credit for what they did here tonight.
I think so. You know, you take a lot of pride with Miami. They figure themselves. They get a lot of receivers. You got to throw the ball. You got to throw the ball. That's our heritage. Well, you got to do what you do best, and this team runs the ball better than they throw the ball, and I think that they've played to that. I think Art Kehoe, their offensive line coach, should get a big plus in this game too.
Yeah, Art Kehoe did a great job. You're exactly right, Gary. I'd forgotten about the job he's done juggling that offensive line since Rodriguez went out. The holding penalty, of course, brought it back inside the 10-yard line. And here is Jared Payton.
34 Jared.
So Moss is over 100 yards. Payton now with 60 yards. So between them, they have 175. And let's go down below to Jack.
Well, when Payton was thrust into service when Frank Gore went down, the first person that Jarrett went to speak to was K2, Kellen Winslow Jr. He explained to Kellen that he was having a little bit of problem and some trepidation about doing it. And what Winslow preached to him was amnesia. He said, you've got to forget about all the bad things and think only about the good things. That's what Jarrett's been doing since then.
He's thinking good things here. 30, breaks free, 40, 45, midfield. The defense has the angle, and Jared Payton is down at the 26. We could have two Miami running backs tonight over 100 yards, and he just did it. Spencer again makes the stop. Remember, he saved a touchdown when he caught Gathers. At least he saved a touchdown for one play before Miami bucked it in.
Smart play on the safety this time by Parrott, by Jayden Parrott. Payton sets up one, gets inside, and turns the back of the other safety, Josh Lay. And then, if it wasn't, as you said, for Shante Spencer, maybe the fastest guy on Pitt's defense, Miami would have scored another long touchdown.
So perhaps the best argument left is who's going to gain the most, Moss or Payton, each with 115 yards rushing. Payton 13 carries, Moss 21. Payton now has the lead for Miami as he takes it across the 25-yard line, and Miami comes in here tonight against this defense and runs for 240 yards. And remember now, already 3 different backs have rushed for better than 200 yards against Pittsburgh. And there you see the numbers of our 2 ace running backs. So we came in singing the praises of 2 receivers, and we're going to go out talking loudly about 2 running backs.
Yeah, and we should also talk about Eric Winston, number 74. Remember, Art Kehoe, we've talked about, the line coach, said Eric Winston, who's just a sophomore, has a chance to be Miami's best tackle anywhere of all time. Hey, hello, Bryant McKinney was the #1 pick.
Pump fake, and Berlin couldn't find anybody open, and he'll go down at the 20-yard line. It's a couple yards shy of a first down. We're at the bottom of the hour. The Miami Hurricanes are closing in on a BCS Bowl bid. Again, to give you how it unfolds, first up will be the Nokia Sugar Bowl. They'll take the first 2 teams in the final BCS rankings after next Saturday's final games, the SEC and the Big 12 2 championship games. They'll make that announcement on Sunday. After that, and perhaps even before that, the Orange Bowl will decide if they want the Big East or the ACC champion. And right now it looks like a choice between Florida State and Miami. Once they make that pick, then, because Oklahoma would have gone to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and John Junker is here tonight watching these 2 teams, scouting them, then it will be up to John and the Fiesta Bowl folks to choose who replaces Oklahoma. One of the teams, obviously, they've been considering is Texas, and the Longhorns would be a very good at-large choice this year as they finished up their season with a win over Texas A&M. The Rose Bowl already has Michigan going out, and if they lose USC, they would replace them. And we'll have to see how it all unfolds, because no one knows if LSU can catch USC or not, pending the outcome of next week's games. Here's the 36-yard field goal. Ricochets no good by John Pettit. And now the event that I want to ask Gary about most of all.
He's in the bathroom. Gary's in the bathroom.
The Skins game. Annika Sorenstam, I'm not sure you were going to watch this when you heard she was competing against Phil Mickelson, Fred Couples, and Mark O'Meara. Guess what, folks? Annika beat them all. Well, an eagle on the ninth, 175.
See,
and Gary, same tees.
I saw what happened, though. After Phil played in the President's Cup, they're letting Phil play from the ladies' tees.
Knowing him, he's probably listening. He's probably got action. First down and 10 for Pittsburgh, coming out from the 20. We've had 35 points scored. That's all here tonight. And Rutherford shakes away from trouble and incomplete. Well, Jack, DJ Williams, one of the stars of this Hurricane defense.
And Brent, guess how he learned how to hit hard? We've got to go all the way back to
how did he learn how to hit hard, Jack? I'll be your ruse.
All right. Well, we'll go back to De La Salle High School, where they handed out a questionnaire to all the players to assess their potential on special teams. Asked them, what would you do if your mom was running the ball back and your team kicked off to her? So DJ set up a home video camera, convinced his mom at 5 foot, 125-pound Sherry Gonzalez, that she should catch the football. When she did, he pasted her, just knocked her on the ground.
I want you to get your hands on that video. Here comes Rutherford in trouble, and down he goes again. Number 57, Javon Nanton. What a story Nanton is. He's been the sack master off the bench over there. Folks, he came to Miami on a track scholarship. That's right. And now he has 7.5 sacks on the season. So with Gary Danielson and Jack Root, I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you along here tonight in Pittsburgh. It has been all Miami following the first drive of the game by the Pitt Panthers. They went out 7-0, and since then Miami has scored 28 unanswered points. They have dominated on both sides of the ball. That's the 8th sack of the game. That's freshman Brian Pata, our Pacific Life game summary. Moss striking gold for the Hurricanes with a touchdown run. Then Wilfork and the Miami D took over. 8 sacks, 54 yards and losses, 2 100-yard rushers. Peyton, the son of the legendary Walter, has rushed tonight for 119 yards. Moss for 115. High snap. Lee pulls it down and gets it off. High bounce, fielded by Roll, the defensive back, and he put it down. Pittsburgh comes up with it. They've got it.
So they give Roll
by Ferguson.
Yeah, they give Roll an opportunity to return a punt, and he gives it right back to Pittsburgh. Well, how about this? Pittsburgh has 7 points and 8 sacks given up.
What a defense Miami has shown us here tonight. So many little stories are unfolding underneath us. For those of you who just joined us, Larry Fitzgerald, their star receiver, has caught only 1 pass tonight for 5 yards. Kellen Winslow has caught only 1 pass for 9, but he has been a monster blocking, helping lead the way for 253 rushing yards. Rutherford has been under fire all night. Completes one at midfield to Fitzgerald. That's his 2nd reception, and absolutely no running room for Fitzgerald after he caught the ball. You can see that Mark Stoops' defensive backs made number 1 a target. He was not going to win the Heisman Trophy here tonight against Stoops and his DBs. No question about it. They knew he came in. He had been the pride of many of the ESPN announcers here for the last few weeks, and Miami came in and said, not against us. You don't win the Heisman. And that's how it's been here tonight. Rutherford throws a 1-hopper. Brockenbrough was the intended receiver. So now we have to say that Oklahoma quarterback Jason White is the clear-cut leader in the race for the Heisman Trophy.
And he should be. I mean, he's a senior. He's coming back. He's got the #1 team. I really believe it was his to lose, and he didn't lose it all year. Remember this Miami defense, though, Brent, and Mark Stoops deserves a lot of credit, but so does Randy Sherman, the defensive coordinator for Miami. Look at this. The last 4 games against Temple, Randy Shannon, excuse me, Temple, Syracuse, Tennessee, and Virginia Tech, they've given up a total of 231-yard passing coming into this game.
That was high, intended for Fitzgerald. No chance to grab that. For those of you folks in the Pacific Network who just joined us and may not have heard the story, Mike Stoops, the co-defensive coordinator, is going to leave Oklahoma to become the head coach in Arizona, and he is taking Mark Stoops, the defensive backfield coach, and his younger brother to Tucson as his defensive coordinator. Mark told Jack Arute that he would not allow him to make the announcement till after the half, just to avoid what happened to John Smith at Louisville last year during their bowl game when word leaked out via cell phone during the first half. Here comes Lee, punting it again. Parrish on the run now, looking for yardage and won't get it. Ferguson's there again. As the ball, it is down at the 12-yard line. Good stop that time. And there you see walking off the field for Miami, number 26. What a game Mr. Sean Taylor has played here tonight. He's the real deal, folks. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new Chevy Malibu and your local Chevy dealers. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm, more evolved skincare, and Dell flexible enterprise solutions that are easy to buy, easy to own, easy as Dell. So the Miami offense coming up, and have to be happy for Brock Berlin, and come back after his benching for the Syracuse game. And you know, he was so heavily criticized by everybody, and Jack Arute traveled down to Miami and asked Brock about how he responded to all the criticism.
I know that it's made me a better person. I know it's made me a better player, and you know, I'm more aware of different things now. And you know, hopefully I can take all the stuff that I've learned in the past few weeks, this past year, into this Pittsburgh game.
Yeah, you know, it's been a tough year, and yet he has responded. Here he is, 12 of 17 carries.
Rob Chudzinski told me that even Ken Dorsey felt the criticisms last year when he was questioned about his arm strength, and he talked to Brock, and it's a tough place to play quarterback in Miami. It's a pro town.
It is very pro town when you live down that area, Gary, and how the media reacts, and they treat the Canes, and of course they're a little bit spoiled down in South Florida by all the Miami Hurricane success, but they treat them like a professional team. You know, they don't cut them any quarter down.
Yeah, that's. Well, I don't know what Pittsburgh's doing. I mean, they finally make a tackle for no gain, and they're doing the Gator chop or something like that. Reminds me of Texas A&M in that 77-0 game. And that's exactly what Paul Rhodes did. Took him right out of the game.
Ball moves to the 17-yard line, 8-1.
Bill goes over to the sideline.
You know, more and more of college football, though, there's a lot of pro towns that are treating the young quarterbacks all over the country. It's
your town, Detroit.
Absolutely.
You did it to John Navarre.
Absolutely, everywhere. It's becoming that way.
How come you were so cruel to Navarre?
No. 3 years.
No, Gary was one of his staunch defenders. I've got to say that for a long time. We couldn't be happier for John Navarre as Jared Payton keeps adding yards. Remember, I said it was a contest to see who's going to gain the most. He's got 131 now.
And I think Miami wants him to win that contest.
Tomorrow on Alias, she was lost for 2 years. Now Agent Cindy Bristow will risk it all to expose the secrets of her disappearance. You won't believe what happens next on an all-new Alias, ABC tomorrow.
You know, Jared Payton last week in the game at halftime when the score was tight, came into the locker room and challenged his team that he wanted to leave that field in Miami with a win, and he kind of stepped up and said a lot to his teammates, and they kind of caught fire in the third quarter.
It's first down now for the Canes. This is Moss trying gathers. Let me check that. That's number 3. Jason Gathers from Delray Beach. All right, Mr. Danielson, you get to name the 5 players that you would invite to the Heisman Trophy ceremony in New York. Tell me the 5 that you would say are the finalists.
I would still bring Larry Fitzgerald. I would bring Chris Perry. Of course, Jason White. I guess Jones, the running back from Virginia Tech. And
how about your guy, Eli Manning?
Eli Manning. Is that a good 5?
Well, yeah, except I got to get Phillip Rivers in there.
Phillip Rivers is going to be a very good pro, too.
First down.
Would you invite Larry Fitzgerald?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know what's going to be interesting after this game, Brent? You know that Kellen Winslow is only 40 days older than Larry Fitzgerald. And by a technicality, really, he can't turn pro. That's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, but the technicality is in black and white.
But I don't think the NFL will fight it if he wants to go. If
Larry
he wants to.
They'll fight it in a heartbeat.
I don't think so. His high school graduating class graduated. He just didn't graduate with them.
That doesn't make it his high school graduating class.
Dinner?
There is no way.
I'm not so sure. He's been out 3 years. 1 year at prep school and 2 years here. And after watching this team pass block tonight, he might want to leave.
Second down and 11. Here's Winslow, that H-back look over now to the right.
Who has
Gathers?
Who has a better argument coming out, Maurice Clarett or Larry Fitzgerald?
It's interesting. Well, here, look who's traveled up from South Florida. He said, cold, heck, I'm not cold. I am the best mascot in college football. He became the unofficial mascot back in the 20s and does a lot of nice things down there in South Florida. 1957, John Stormont. Well, there you can see down there, 65, South Beach. Very comfortable 29 up here in Pittsburgh.
What is it? Does that mean it's 64 degrees where you live up about 10 minutes north of there?
Up in Jupiter, yeah, it's 64 up there. Third down, 8 yards. So Gathers getting the mop-up duty call here.
All right.
Spencer making the stop, and again, we apologize for not having the clock up there, but they broke here in the stadium, so that one is unofficial, and they're using it up on the replay screen up there. 4:22 left in this game, and then Miami can celebrate leaving the Big East Conference with a co-championship. And by any measurement, they should be declared champion. They beat West Virginia head-to-head, and that was a great play. Oh, by the way, Kellen Winslow's 4th down catch in that game to keep the winning drive alive. And they will go to a BCS Bowl as the representative of the Big East in their last season. And through the years, you see the Big East champions. Look, this would be the 4th consecutive Big East title as the Canes leave to join the ACC next year. Oh, yeah. The mad move of the week, we'll have to see.
That's why they brought everybody here, to see what the mad move of the game was.
It's about all that's left. 19 folks have stuck around. Pump fake by Rutherford. He'll take off running again, and DJ Williams brings him down. But let's look at our mad move of the week. Several candidates, but Gary Danielson said we've got to go with this one.
Our longtime producer, Bob Goodrich, said he's never seen 4 guys get a sack. Everybody gets 1/4.
Okay, Rutherford. Out in the flat for a first down. And run out of bounds is Polite in his last game here. The hard-working senior from North Braddock, Pennsylvania. We've talked a lot about Miami going on to a BCS Bowl. Pittsburgh, of course, also will be going to a bowl game, as will West Virginia. West Virginia and Miami, co-champions of the Big East. And a tough night for Coach Harris and the Panthers.
Who would most like to have one game over this season?
Oh, it's got to be Miami against Tennessee at home.
How about USC against California?
That was not bad.
How about Michigan against Iowa?
Or Oregon Michigan.
Yeah, well, I tell you, that's there's a lot of criticism of the BCS. And some of the things are quirky, but boy, it's a lot of fun following this thing through the whole year.
The regular season is something.
It is.
And you know, Gary, you and I have talked because we came in, we were kind of like the rest of the country. We said, well, USC deserves it and la 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 la.
Oh, yeah.
We finally got a chance to watch LSU, and we said,
they're for real.
Wait a minute, this team plays pretty good.
They do.
So we'll have to see how this unfolds. I've got no idea.
Well, I really think there's 5 teams that can all play with each other. Maybe Oklahoma's the best. I'll give them that. But you put Michigan, Miami, LSU, and USC on the field, they won't embarrass themselves.
I absolutely agree with that. Rutherford pumps it complete. Broken throw. And, let's take a look at the Chevrolet drive summary. And you can see the last 5 possessions for these fellas: an interception and 4 punts. And that interception was so critical. They could have moved
14-point game then.
7 points. And over the middle with the completed pass. The hitting in the secondary by Coach Stoops, his defensive back. Now there's Sykes. He suffered a broken bone in his hand last week. And he made that hit against Greg Lee, the freshman receiver from Tampa. I mean, the Miami defensive players have just standouts here tonight. Rutherford trying to get it in, got it, touchdown, and there he is. Fitzgerald keeps the streak alive. 18 straight games that he has caught a touchdown pass.
I'll tell you what, that is class by Mr. Fitzgerald right here. Pittsburgh keeps playing. Rod Rutherford finds him in the middle of this game. 2 Miami defenders bump into each other. Watch him just flip it to the referee. You don't need to show off. That's exactly it, Larry Fitzgerald. He's got plenty of talent.
Everybody should play the game like that. Everybody who scores a touchdown, give the ball to the referee and let's play on. Wouldn't that be nice? So Larry Fitzgerald, in the midst of his toughest game perhaps ever in college football, keeps the streak alive. Good going, Larry. Timeout. Now we welcome you back to the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT. Star Larry Fitzgerald on the field for the expected onside kick here, with Pittsburgh trailing by 2 touchdowns at 2:43. Not quite over yet. Miami needs to get its hands on that football and run down some time here. They know what's coming. The good hands people are ready now. Gressill, the kickoff man, takes that high hop. Ball is loose, and Pittsburgh says they've got it. They do. Pittsburgh comes up with an Ozzie Biam from Seabrook, Texas. The sophomore defensive player makes a stop, and hold on, everybody. Pittsburgh says we're not quite finished just yet. A beautiful onside kick, Gary.
Miami tries to block up front, but really doesn't attack the football. The ball bounces twice, so Pittsburgh gets to attack and knock people down. It bounces loose. What Miami should do once it bounces is go get it, not wait for it to come from you, and that's what happens.
Now Rutherford will be looking deep. He's got Fitzgerald split out to the bottom of your screen. Rutherford looking. Does he have time? No, he's going to be sacked for a 9th time in this game. And Thomas Carroll, number 90, the sophomore from Lakewood, New Jersey, leading the defensive assault
good thing there was number 9, because Larry Fitzgerald was wide open as Kelly Jennings fell down on the play. Look at this, open by 20 yards.
Rutherford back again. Hit as he throws, and so it's a one-hopper, and it'll be 3rd down, as again, it was Carroll in on top of him.
It's like Miami has decided the game's not over. Also, they've started to rush the passer again. They were kind of playing polite football, and now they're coming back and saying, let's end this thing with another sack.
They're sitting on 9 sacks right now, 1 interception. They've held Pittsburgh to less than 200 total yards of offense, 8 yards rushing. Remember, the sacks are taken off the rushing total, so it's only 8 yards rushing for Pittsburgh. Short drop. Rutherford going to take off. Is he going to get the first down? Just short, I believe.
Well, he made a little mental mistake. Now, it's easy to do it up here because we can see the line and where he's running to. But that time, if Rod Rutherford just gone straight, he had a first down, and the clock keeps running. We believe it's under 2 minutes.
Yeah, the replay board shows 1:45, and they've got the first down, which stops the clock at 1:40 showing up on the board. And, of course, a reminder, time for the Dean Thrifty Car Rental post-game report with John, Terry, and Craig. Hey, how about a hats off to John? Made it through the weekend with laryngitis. Nice going, John. Get some tea, pour a little shot of bourbon in it, lad, before you go to sleep tonight. You'll feel real good in the morning. First down and 10. Rutherford. Middle intercepted at the 12-yard line. Picked off by Maurice Sykes, the safety. Still going. 35, 30, 1 man to beat. And caught from behind at the 15-yard line.
Hurricane interception.
Sean Taylor came all the way downfield to block for him, but he was caught from behind as he was breaking free by Brockenbrough, the wide receiver.
There's the interception, thrown way late. 2 deep safeties standing 20 yards deep, just reading. The guy going right down the middle right here. The off safety just reads it as the ball's thrown too short, comes and catches it and finishes the game for Miami. Sykes had to numb his hand. It bothered him even in practice. Had to receive a little injection to play in the game tonight.
Nice job by Chris Myers, the center, filling in for Rodriguez. Carey and Winston were standouts on the left side. McGrath did an excellent job at right guard. Carlos Joseph over there at right tackle. That offensive line did a heck of a job tonight. They led the way for 282 rushing yards, 131 for Peyton.
You know, Brent, we talked a lot about receivers, and this, I think, in college football is the year of the receiver. I'm going to give you my rating. Lee Evans, Michael Jacobs, James Terry, Reggie Williams on the bottom. Clayton, Roy Williams, Braylon Edwards, the next level, Rashawn Woods and Mike Williams, and Larry Fitzgerald, the best in the country.
But you left off the other Clayton, Michael from LSU. How can you do that to one of my Tigers?
I don't get to do any SEC games. I forgot about him.
Hey,
a lot of receivers coming out. A lot of balls being thrown around college football.
What have we got up here?
We got to, I tell you what, though, we were talking about next week, Oklahoma. I think Kansas State can give him a little bit of a football game if Al Roberson plays like he's been playing.
Sproles, of course, the running back.
James Terry, the wide receiver that we mentioned.
That's at 8 Eastern next Saturday night. And,
why don't you run through everything if Kansas State wins that game, too, okay, on that last minute here?
Second down and 12. It's either that or the credits, and I opt for the credits. Here comes Gathers. He'll be thrown down there at the 19-yard line by Postel, who's played a pretty good game inside of a minute. But thanks go out to our executive producer of ABC Sports, Mike Pearl, the senior producer of ABC Sports, Bob Toms, the coordinating producer of ABC's college football, and the producer of the game tonight, Bob Goodrich, our director, Larry Camp, technical director, Monty Poling, associate producer, Drew Kaliski, associate director, Brian Fay, the spotter, Brian Mobilson, stats man, George Hill, technical manager, Mark Towie, production manager, Christy Bravey, production assistants, Miss Sundevil and Dr. Graphics themselves, director of production, Mark Loomis, and the stage manager, the Yankee, Wellington Wilmore Jr. Man, folks, is that a mouthful for a stage manager? Wellington Wilmore Jr.
Hey, Brent, Mike Holmgren just called and wants to know how much time is left in the game.
Yes. Who's that? One of the big fellas who's down there.
Joe McGrath, who's had a great game. He's the guy that's been pulling all day, going behind Vernon Carey and Eric Winston, and all game that rushing yards.
You know where he's from?
No.
Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
Wow.
Okay. Now, you know what? He loved it when he walked on the field tonight.
He said,
this is beautiful. This is warm.
Saskatchewan.
No wonder he had a great game. Anybody who comes from Moose Jaw to play football down in Miami can't be all bad, huh? Hockey player down there, slap shot they probably call him. Big Joe, he had a heck of a game.
Remember they had the center last year from Miami. What was his name?
Romberg.
Romberg was from Canada also.
Romberg's in the NFL.
Yes.
I think he was activated here a couple weeks ago. The Canes are coming. The ACC beware. I would say so. Miami won it. And our Chevrolet players of the game. You know, there were so many people on the Miami team we could have honored. But you know, we're going to go with Jarrett Payton tonight.
Bravo, Jim.
31 yards. And Larry Fitzgerald, he hung in there. He kept his helmet in the game. Tough game. 3 catches for 26 yards, and he kept that record intact. 18 consecutive games. He's got a touchdown pass. And in recognition of their effort, Chevrolet makes a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. And for Larry, I know that he wishes that this had been a win by Pittsburgh, first of all, and secondly, that he had performed better tonight. But there are better days ahead for that young man, believe me. He's just an outstanding student athlete, and you can call him that. A young man who went to a prep school to get his grades up. That's why technically he did not graduate with his regular class. And he so wanted to go to a BCS bowl game this year. But I think he probably will be one of the finalists. He'll be invited to the Heisman Trophy ceremony. And we'll see what happens. 4th down. As they're running out the clock here with 52 seconds. They give it up now to Pittsburgh. Thanks also to the Pittsburgh SID. E.J. Borghetti, and from Miami, Mark Prey and Doug Walker.
We got a 15-yard penalty on somebody out there.
Do we?
Yep.
Dead ball. Personal foul against Miami. 15 yards. First down.
Yeah, I think it was Big Eric Winston, to tell you the truth, that got that penalty.
Good job of coaching by Larry Coker. Following that heartbreaking loss to Tennessee, you know that, Gary, and those turnovers, he changed quarterbacks. Derek Crudup started a Syracuse game, was won. They went back to Berlin. They defeated Rutgers. They stuck with Berlin here. You know, you can tell by that picture over there and just being around this team when they came on the field last night, there's good relationship between Berlin and all the players on this Miami team and the coaches. You like the chemistry with this.
It was tested a bit during the year.
Yes, it was.
But, you know, guys like to win. I don't mind emotions. I really don't. In fact, I didn't mind the Kellen Winslow thing at all. I mean, that happens when you stick microphones in guys sometimes.
Yeah, you know, they're one of the few schools that opens up that locker room, and I'm sure they're going to reconsider it. That's too bad. I mean, for the media, that's just such great access to be in to talk to some of these fellows. It's great. And like you say, the microphone was in there, and he was baited just a little bit. Yeah, he should have left unsaid a lot of things.
But I mean, we just saw Lloyd Carr in the middle of a game react sometimes too. It just happens.
Exactly.
Panthers 2nd and 10.
61. Final 42 seconds as Miami goes back to a BCS bowl.
Nice play.
Wow, they were all over Fitzgerald that time.
Well, they got 2 safeties deep, so if you're covering them short, you can gamble on anything Miami does that time. Last time it was Kelly Jennings, number 22. You just go for the first move all the time, and because you know you got safeties behind you. Here he comes out. It's going to be a dig across the middle, a little arm over. Watch Jennings guess. See how he guesses? Went to the inside because he knew that that's where it's going to go. What happens? Does Fitzgerald, Brett, get another catch, or does Miami get another sack?
Maybe a catch.
Okay.
Rutherford. He threw back in the other direction for the first down, which stops the clock near midfield. Fitzgerald was running his pattern off to the right, and they came back to Wilson. Caught the touchdown pass for Pittsburgh here tonight. They looked so good on that first drive of the game. You really thought this was going to be a contest, and then Miami took charge and choked the life out of this game with its defense. They've had 9 sacks tonight and 2 interceptions as Rutherford back to throw again. And there's the 3rd interception, and Mr. Taylor has a pair of them on the night.
Boy, he break on that football.
Sean Taylor came so fast. The 6'3" junior from Miami. Incidentally, we got a call from New York that Kenny Easley was the safety who was drafted the highest by the NFL. He was picked number 2 out of UCLA by Seattle. Roy Williams went 3 to Dallas.
I think he's got him right side of the screen, way up to the top right there. He's going to watch him break on this football. I mean, that is what you look for. A guy who can play safety and be comfortable with the ball in the air, and you're going to try to lateral it at the end of the game, too.
9 interceptions, and he returned 3 of them for touchdowns as Brock Berlin
Miami's going to
runs out the clock, and by throwing it up, there's going to be a little penalty.
They only had 10 men on the field, and they didn't cover up Eric Winston that time. Illegal formation.
Illegal formation on the offense. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. First down.
They're going to go with 10 again. Well, they're all looking at each other, trying to figure out what to do.
Well, 2 years ago, Larry Coker won a national championship out at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. A year ago, he suffered a heartbreaking loss in the national championship game. There is the president of Miami, the athletic director back there on the sideline, as Larry Coker takes the Canes back to a BCS Bowl again. What a remarkable career he's had. And of course, he faced a challenge this year. This is not one of your premier Miami offensive teams, but here tonight, they get 476 yards of offense. They rush for 281 yards. Brock Berlin throws for 195. They win it 28-14, and a very big smile on Berlin's face. Well, ABC Sports is online at ABC Sports, ESPN.com. Search ABC Sports. And don't forget Monday Night Football, the Titans and the Jets at 9 Eastern time. So for Gary and Jack, I'm Brent saying so long from Pittsburgh. Congratulations to Miami.